Do you often feel that no matter what you do, your life never quite goes your way? Me too, until I learned this one little trick that helped me put everything into perspective. Low-key gaslighting yourself. Hi there, I'm Theresa, content creator of The Randomness on this channel, and most importantly, not a doctor. So, take what we're going to talk about today with a grain of salt. I did want to say what I've been doing for the past almost a year that has really helped my outlook on life. And that is something that I call the Pleasantville effect. Before I really explain what it is, we're gonna have to take a little detour, a little tangent, but I promise that it makes sense. And I promise I'm going to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. So let's go back, far, far back to the late 1900s and the early 2000s, also known as my middle school and high school life. And I'm going to lump these together because they were terrible. I had something mentally. I had something in about 8th grade that I was like, yes, here it is. I have plans. I have huge plans, unlike everyone else I'm going to school with. I am going to get out of here. I'm going to leave this school, leave this state, and I am going to become an animator for the Walt Disney Company. Actually, that was my goal since childhood, since I was about like 7 or 8. But that's when I was like, yes, only focusing on that. And obviously, that did not happen. I did work for Disney for about 3 years in the theme parks. Loved my time there. Had to leave. Never got to animation. Never got to that dream of animator for the Disney Company. More than likely never will have. But I was like, you know what? That's okay. Actually, it's not okay. That's been like the crux of like the majority of my life issues. But I was like, you know what? We're going to pivot. We're going to do other things. Did those other things. And then the worst upon worst that teenage Theresa could have ever imagined happened. I became a teacher. Through a series of unfortunate events, I became a teacher. And that was something that I never said, or I always said, I never wanted to do. Partially because both of my parents are teachers and everyone was like, oh, you're going to be a teacher when you grow up. And I was like, no. But here we are. And that leads us to last year around this time. I feel like whenever I talk about career stuff, I always have to make this disclaimer because there are, I'm not even going to say messy people. There are, gossipy people, nosy people in life. So I'm going to make this disclaimer. It's a true disclaimer, though. I really like the school that I work for. I really like the kids that I teach, etc., etc. However, the Pleasantville scenario to make sense to you, I do have to take you back about a year and a few weeks. Last year, second to last week of May, graduation. I didn't know any of the graduating seniors because it was my first year at the school. We were still, though, required to all attend graduation. So we're filing in. We have our nice caps and gowns on. We're good. We're sitting. Everyone else is crying. Everyone else is like, oh, my babies. Everyone else, meaning all the other teachers, they were like, oh, it's so great. And while they were doing that for the entire graduation ceremony, I was sitting there staring, eyes front. And I guess everyone else just thought, and I was just, intensely into the graduation ceremony. What was indeed happening through that entire ceremony was I was having an intense existential crisis. Because if you haven't pieced the two together, or you don't know me IRL, school, that high school that I was so like, yes, I want to get out of here. I can't wait to get out of here. On my graduation day, as I threw my cap up in the air, I was like, yes, I never have to set foot in this place ever again. That school is the school that I currently work at. So completely different from being a student and then an adult though, but it was to the day since I had graduated. And that was the first time I had sat at a graduation ceremony at my former high school. So you can just about imagine how I felt. I had all of these huge goals and I accomplished none of them. Let's be honest. Let's not try to frost up this cake of despair, I had accomplished 0 of my goals. And this is something that like I had dealt with for a long time. How successful I was in anything, how good my life was at the moment. In the back of my mind, there was always this, but I didn't do what I set out to do in life, what I felt was like my big goal in life. And I know that that's a thing that a lot of people deal with. So, crisis happening, yay, we cheered all the graduates off, went home and could not sleep, like at all could not sleep, because like obviously I'm still having that crisis in my head. Turned on TV, and what was on the TV but Pleasantville? And I'm not really going, I don't think I can spoil Pleasantville. If you don't know what Pleasantville is, it was a movie in the, I don't know, the 90s, I'm assuming, where these people, we're good at summarizing things. So their two main characters from modern day, present day, were like they were pulled into the TV and pulled into a show. I think the show was called Pleasantville. And it was this very like Mayberry sort of place that like everyone was happy and know that they were living in a TV show pretty much. So like they went on with their everyday life, and it wasn't until our two main characters, who were played by Tobey Maguire and Reese Witherspoon, I think, showed them, which I think, and I know that there's like a deeper underlying meaning. It's very allegory of the cave-esque, and I really did enjoy the movie. It was my first time watching it. But until the two main characters started showing the people in the town that like, hey, like they kind of broke that fourth wall of like, hey, not saying you're living in a TV show, but started showing them sort of like real life things. They were okay with their life. They were happy with their life. That is when it occurred to me. I was not happy because I was comparing every single thing in my life to what I thought it should be. Well, let me try this out for a few weeks where I don't do that, where I look at my life at like face value. I have a job. I am living in a great apartment. You know, I have XYZ going for me in my life, and like just focused on that and didn't focus on the, but at my life, I thought I'd be this way. I started doing that for a few weeks and feel like my outlook on life changed pretty rapidly. And I've been with that this entire time. I've been keeping with that for about a year. And I find that Pleasantville effect has really helped me sort of, I don't know, have a more positive outlook on life. And I know that there's probably going to be somebody watching this and being like, well, you're just living in denial. You're just dissociating. And while I dissociate a lot in life, I don't really feel that this is like me living in denial. Two examples, one career and then one in like personal fitness. I thought that by this point in my fitness journey, I would be running like 10Ks and half marathons, specifically for Run Disney. But you know, like that's what I was training to do for the longest time because of the blood clot in my lungs and around my heart. Can I do that? No, I am not there. Does that tear me down and is that horrible? Yeah, definitely. Whenever that crosses my mind, it does tear me down that like I can't currently go like walk more than 25 minutes like at a max speed without getting extremely out of breath and feeling like my heart is going to explode. But you know what? That is my current reality. The fact that I thought I was going to be doing something else does not change my current reality. And honestly, with all that I've been through with my health since July, all that I've been through with my health since July, I feel very like #blessed that I can even go out and do that sort of walking at that speed for that amount of time. And career-wise, I have a lot of my former classmates from university who are like doing things like, I don't know, winning Emmys and winning Pulitzer Prizes. As at my job, I have to tell 17 and 18-year-olds to stop hitting each other with their IDs. Does that suck? Yeah, absolutely it does. But it really doesn't do me good to dwell on the fact that they are doing that and that is a career path I could have taken and that I'm not doing what I thought I would be doing at that time. Like, the reality is not always great if you're living in that reality, and I guess just focusing on the good that your reality gives you, or at least that's what I find, focusing on the good that my current reality is giving me. Yeah, always wanting to strive for more, but not like reflecting back and being like, well, life should have been this way. It makes things a lot better, I find, and it makes me not only have a more positive outlook on things and be able to move forward with things, but also helps me to be a lot less bitter than I find I was in the past. I was a very, very bitter person in the past, and I still am. I'm still a tiny bit bitter. But overall, I find that really focusing on the current good, even if there's only like one thing good in my life, in my current reality, that's really all that it takes to change your outlook, or change my outlook. I don't know if you will be the same way. Yeah, that's something I made a reference in a video a few months ago where I was like, I'm going to talk about this, and then like time went away from me. But yeah, that's really what I've been doing for the past year or so that has really affected my mental space. Let me know down below what you do to really help affect your mental space in a more positive way. I would love to hear from you. I hope that wasn't too much of a ramble, but even if it was, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your day with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you want to hang out a little more often, I have a video and a playlist here for you right now.